Hi sir, how are you?
Namaskar, good afternoon, Siddharth. Very fine. How are you? I will like to ask how are your parents, your mom and dad?
So sir, as you know, I'm in Delhi right now, so because we will just tell the people who are watching this video as well. And I'm in Delhi now because both my parents were unwell with COVID, and Delhi has seen one of the worst waves in April. And I had to travel down with emergency here, but I was backed up by the support of Dr. Ashok Kapoor, who kept checking on me throughout this stressful journey, I would say. But coming back to your question, doctor, you have been looking after us and asking us, checking the reports. So God is kind that they came out of that danger time. But you well know that recovery from COVID is another long process. So we have everyday ups and downs, and so we are going through it. But I would definitely like to discuss what happened and what is happening.
I think a good knowledge for many others who are going through this journey right now, which you have been through. And in fact, I was a part of the journey which you went through. I can very well understand the pain and agony you went through, but you stood all the time strong, that I should say, from the beginning. So let me hear your part of story before we start discussing further. So that story becomes important in our journey, also in our enhancement of knowledge. So let me know what was going on and how it is.
Right. So, doctor, I think I was actually planning my family to visit Dubai in March or April. And I think by second week of April, all was well. I mean, Delhi, no one knew that there will be a COVID surge. We didn't think there's any problem. But one fine day, I think it was the third week of COVID, when my father suddenly fell ill and there was fever. And within a week, there were rapid developments. I felt like I don't know even one person in Delhi who was not sick, or at least a family member. You were also telling me so many of people were sick in those days.
Same time, I was getting at least 5 to 6 families from Delhi, then Kanpur, Chennai, a lot of cities. We were getting the similar symptoms, similar presentations. So we could feel something wrong has gone suddenly. Understand your point that something suddenly happened. And we also were bombarded by a lot of calls. Yes, Siddharth. What next?
Yeah. So because before I traveled in Dubai, I told you most of my staff were also suddenly they got COVID, and I knew what it is like. I mean, it was there. They were treated, then they were back home, and it was nothing like what I saw in Delhi. So Delhi, what I saw was actually, it was like a monster of a virus which attacked Delhi. I don't know what happened, but I want you to talk more about Delta variant here, because now they're calling it the Delta variant. And my little thing was that what I saw is that the first 7 days, which were very crucial, and within the 7 days it decided that the person is going to the hospital or not going to the hospital. And I just saw people talking and collapsing, whether it's on news or it's this. So now I have experienced it, and I've spoken to you throughout, but I want you to tell us why this happened. What do you think? What is more worrisome about what happened?
Yes, Siddharth, I very well remember first 3-4 days you were in Dubai with me on phone all the time, online with your dad and mom, managing from here. But the situation was not coming into the grip of your family, and suddenly the noise was coming from every side, everywhere, as I said on phone and online, that my family or everybody is with fever, coughing, breathlessness, oxygen levels. So that is the time I think you also became very vigilant, and you could sense, I appreciate you could sense that something is going wrong, and you took a flight all the way to Delhi in spite of all the hurdles in getting those days the flight. Then you reached Delhi, I remember. Now, what has had happened in this second, third week of April is now we understand very well, because we were in panic mode. What suddenly is going on? Suddenly, the tsunami has started. So, what had happened? The virus which we are suffering for last 1.5 years now, the COVID-19 disease so-called, is a small particle, millionth of a small micron, which has been named as alpha virus to start with. When it started, the genetic code of this virus was studied, and it was said that it is an RNA, one of the big RNA virus, like a common cold and viruses which we come across. But the quantum of virus spread was so fast and so much all over globally, and the fight was going on with the virus with all type of medications which we were thinking may work in this, and the virus was also fighting us back. So it went from alpha to beta strain to gamma strain to delta strain and epsilon strain. Now delta strain is what is important for us, because this is what was responsible for the whole tsunami wave which happened in Delhi. In India, around December 2020, this virus was suspected.
Right.
Why it is named different? Because, while trying to survival of the fittest, as we know, so it was trying to change its genetic makeup. The virus has a lot of genes which are responsible for production of structure and function. So it was also working on that, and the Delta virus unfortunately came out which was the most virulent of all the viruses which we as a COVID know now. So it had changed its transmissibility. It became very highly transmissible, and probably it was not well being neutralized by our own immune system. You must have remembered in 2020 and 2019, India was doing very well with this virus.
Yeah, in fact, sir, first week of April, I think we had 0 people, zero.
Almost such a big country
in
of
Delhi.
35 million people, 1.35 billion people, and it was a minuscule of a problem. Very small issue was going on, and we were very comfortable, very happy.
Right.
We have very well managed it. But this virus, somehow the other in end of the 2020, this strain from the Kent strain which came from UK, it was also a Delta type of, it was a beta strain, but it was also on the changing mode, which had already caused a sort of havoc in UK. So somehow the other, here it changed mode and it became what we call as the Delta strain, the most horrific of them. And suddenly the transmissibility was so fast, so high, that people were, taken amak. They couldn't understand that they can have suddenly this reversal of what was being seen in India, almost the disease vanishing, and then India becomes the highest producer of COVID cases per day.
Yeah.
This was in nobody's knowledge, and nobody expected it. Some surprises do happen. Like in our medicine, we do see miracles where the disease which is incurable becomes curable, and a curable disease, the person dies. So for the doctors also, it was something like that. We were happy, we were relaxed, we were just in a mode that we will be off mask and all, and it suddenly came. And this strain, probably our antibody system, which was very effective against alpha, did not work against it, or our body did not gear up, or our body did not expect it, and the vaccination was also not to that weak at that time. Because the vaccination started, I think, somewhere in March.
Yeah. So I'll come back to this vaccination point. Actually, my parents were vaccinated. They had both the vaccines, and I know many people who had both the vaccines, and still many did not make it also, sir. Even the frontliners, I think there were about 100 doctors who, I would say, lost the battle in Delhi alone, as per the medical records. I will just make a statement. Maybe you can put more light on this. And so I did some research that what happened in Delhi. So what I understood is that we call it, I don't know the right word, but the volume of the virus was so much in Delhi that the vaccines could not protect, because there were so many people who had. So they say, I think the strain was so much. So can you tell more about this?
I got your point. You are probably thinking that the virus was so strong that it very well percolated the defense system which was being created by the vaccine. Now there are 2-3 points important. The vaccine program started in India in about this March, what I understand. I think in March. And normally we were expecting that 2 vaccines people will take, and another 10 days the full antibody system will be ready. Now this time was still less than, I think March to April, maybe 20-30 million people must have been vaccinated, not the amount which we have given. Although India has done very well as far as the vaccination, it was very fast, very quick. But by that time, the Delta strain took its strength fully, was available in the air all around. People were not that vigilant also, I should say. They were taking it more easy. And the vaccination program was not also geared up. And our body system was also not geared up, as I said, as it was geared up against the alpha virus. What was happening? The viral load was too much in Delhi and everywhere back home in India. So उसके बावजूद भी वैक्सीन जिसने लिए भी हुए हैं, तो antibody amount was not that much as was the viral vaccine because of the huge population we had to cater.
Right.
And it would have been a population of maybe 5-6 million and almost 80% are vaccinated. Because of herd immunity that works very well, and that would have prevented this tsunami which happened. Now 1.35 billion people.
Right.
Maybe by that time 8 or 10 million, and then the amount, the volume, the quantum of the virus in the air was much more. That almost affected, I should say, everybody.
Yes. In fact, someone gave me a good example, sir, that because, I think most of the frontliners, they were the most affected among so many people. Unfortunately, and they did have the vaccines. So I was also talking to another doctor, and he told me that, Siddharth, you have put 2 security guards in your injections. You think 2 security guards, but 1,000 people are attacking you. Those 2 security guards will save you for some time. But there are 1,000 people attacking. So that was a good analogy given to me.
I think you got the point rightly. So that is what is indirectly herd immunity. जब security चारों तरफ से available है, तो virus enter करेगा. तो वो available नहीं थी, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं से enter करके it was doing its job and creating a havoc all over, which we saw, unfortunately.
Right. So, sir, there is a lot of fear. I see fear, at least in me, my family, some educated people. But still, if I walk around Delhi, there are people who put the mask here. They are moving around as if nothing happened. But if I want to ask you, where are we heading from now? Like what we should all do? I think even in Delhi, what I saw that the virus was spread inside the houses. I mean, if a kid came, so everyone should wear masks inside the house. What we should do?
And the very important point is this is not the end of story. We have seen alpha, beta, gamma, epsilon, delta. It can go on and go on. It can be a never-ending process. Also, we also are not sure when the whole issue will settle down and the virus is no more in the air or the wind or in the all around surrounding. So these few points like sanitization of ourselves, preventing our body system the cough and breathing not to affect others. So the very important point is what you call as the protecting the face, the mouth and the nose with the help of the mask. And the mask should be 100% effective. We should remember that mask, if it is more under the chin or the lips, it has no value.
Yes, yes.
One on the mouth only, again it has no value. 50% of the air goes to the rather more than 80% goes to the nose. So activity, one has to understand that the mask should be completely worn. It should be 100% effective. That is a very good cotton gauze double stripped mask should be there. Still, the hand washing has been ignored of late, I have seen, which should be still a continuous process, because a lot of time we keep on touching with our hands the mask and the body parts in the face. So whenever you get a chance, still the hand sanitization, whether you use a sanitizer like Durell or you take along with soap, should be a continuous process. So this is the important point. Plus social distancing plays a very important role. I've seen people in the lifts going together in 10, 15 when the capacity normally is also 4, 5. Still a practice because they are in a hurry to reach their office or a room or a house. Today morning itself, I was coming out of my clinic, so there were 2 people standing there and 2 of us were there. So in my lift, normally we allow 2 people on to go at a time. And those were very friendly people. So they said, come, doctor, no problem, you're getting late. I said, no, better late than never. So we joined in this afternoon only. So even the educated class, sometimes starts taking it easy. So social distancing is very important. Ideally try to keep it 6 feet away or at least minimum 3 feet.
Okay.
No shake hands, no kisses, as you know.
Yes.
Should be.
Also, sir, it was seen in India. Now, I was reading another article on an optimistic side that they said that now, since most of the India did get the virus and rest of them will get injected, so there will be herd immunity and there will be less possibility of the third wave. So what do you think?
Yeah, you're very right. I would say once the herd immunity is there, and provided the strain doesn't mutate to that extent that it is not bothered about the herd immunity also. You got my point. There is a point being discussed about Delta strain, the probability the neutralizing antibodies which are produced by the vaccines were not very effective against it. Although most of the vaccines company and the scientists have given some studies have also shown they are still effective 80 to 90% even in Delta strain. But those 10% people are still important.
Right.
Hospitalization is reduced by 90%, but if you take a country as big as India with so many people, 10% also becomes a huge number. So definitely the vaccines will keep on doing their job, but there will be some failure of 5 to 8 or 10%, and those 10% number, out of that, some mortality can be still there.
Right.
My point. Prevention protection is very important.
Yeah. And in this wave, I never heard about so many instruments. There are many suddenly new instruments popped up which have become like we used to use thermometer in past as oxygen meter. So it was, I think, an indispensable tool to have during this battle. So what do you advise that what on oximeter is important and what people should keep noting? Oximeter is the one which saved lives, or many people did not take it seriously and lost lives.
A lot of decisions were made on online consultation which have saved life. I have experienced myself. Lot of time we could prevent the hospitalization because of the high technology which has entered every home now. Like SpO2 is a small 10 gram machine, and you put on a finger and you get an idea about the oxygen levels in the body. And that was the main issue in this disease, unfortunately. The oxygen level going down. So SpO2 is fine at 99, and suppose a person is still running a fever of 103. So normally a person was more worried about the fever rather than SpO2 because he never used to measure it.
Yes.
He never. So now onwards, I think for times to come, these small experiments will be kept at home, and a patient will play a very important role in his management. And online consultation, teleconsultation is a very important tool this day. And now onwards, I think 80% of the people right now, my patient who have fever and all, they take online. Rather than going out and mixing with the public, lot of people and giving the injection or taking the injection. So this technology has played a very big role. Blood pressure they can take, pulse rate they can take, even some Google watches are available, specific scientific watches are available which can even do the ECG and show. I had one patient who kept on showing me his ECG tracings of a single lead, his SpO2. He was very well managed at home. So I'm saying, I remember your dad case also, we tried our best to manage at home. But right now we took a decision that now the time has come that he will need a continuous oxygen.
Right.
This is how it makes a big difference where this technology, you save time, you save money, you save yourself, and you lessen the burden of the hospital. Because every COVID patient, suppose, starts going to the hospital, you can understand.
Sure.
But I think initially.
Sure. So in our next video, in fact, I would like to talk about these technologies more, like SpO2 or oxygen concentrator, or when my dad was in the hospital, it was high flow oxygen. So I think in our next video, we can educate people because there should be some idea what's happening.
I think there should be an idea, and I think Indians are very intelligent people, because the way they are running with the oxygen cylinders, which are although artificially produced deficiency, I could see them in the oxygen, so they could understand that the oxygen is less, the person needs oxygen. Let's bring it and treat it. And I think oxygen was the main savior in this great because virus has its own life duration, it dies its own death. And during that time, if you maintain the oxygen, the body recovers.
So it was a very good, informative session with you, Dr. Kapoor. I got you out of your working hours to talk all this because I wanted to make it public, and I want this, in this small way, whatever value we can add by spreading knowledge. I think that's the least we can do for the society. So coming back, sir, I just want to ask you, what are the 3 most important things we learned from this second wave, as in we call in India, and futuristically what we should be careful about? Any 3 points to summarize it?
I'll give 3 quick points which are often repeated. Number 1 is vaccination. Everybody needs to be vaccinated, and earlier the better. Both the 2 doses, most of the vaccines in India, Covaxin and Covishield, have 2 vaccine programs at an interval of about 28 days or more. Everybody has to be vaccinated. We need not think what disease he has, what problem he has. He should come in contact with his doctor and tell him, should I get vaccinated? Yes, he needs to be vaccinated. Everybody needs to be vaccinated. This is a very important first point. Number 2, the mask. The mask has to continue till the time we decide that the virus is no more in the air, no more in the environment, no more transmissibility, until the vaccine has given us full herd immunity and the guidelines of the government come out that we can move around with the vaccine.
Right.
And third is the personal hygiene, which has been going very well in India from now for last few years. But personal hygiene in the form of sanitation, hand washing, keeping our homes clear, our environment clear is very important. In the long term, it goes in prevention of all the types of infections, not only the coronavirus. So
and you mentioned me another point, sir. You just mentioned me when we were talking that Siddharth, that stock up some instruments at home. So
this can be taken as a 4th point. I think everybody has to become a doctor now, and there is no harm keeping small technologies at home, which is SpO2 meter is very important.
Right.
The thermometer, digital thermometer is very important. Blood pressure machine like from Omron and many other places tells you the heart rate and the blood pressure. People who can afford can keep a watch which gives you your heart rate, your rhythm, your regularity of the heart all the time has to be kept in, and many other instruments when we come to the next class we can discuss, which we can be kept at home. तो कहते हैं ना कि घर के नानी के टोटके वो अब मॉडर्नाइज हो गए हैं, हाईटेक चलते रहेंगे, उसमें एडिशनल चीजें हम लोग डिस्कस कर सकते हैं फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ पब्लिक.
So I want to actually summarize this discussion with what we will do next time. Like in this time, what I discovered that somewhere down the line, when we really needed the doctors, they were not there. Because in Delhi, especially, everyone was sick or they were overloaded with work. Yes. So I was troubling you sitting in Dubai. So what we will discuss maybe in our next discussions is that how you can become at least basic reading of these machines and how they can use it. So that will help people, I guess.
I think we can teach a lot of people online how to use all instruments and support your doctor in treating you at home also many times instead of going to the clinic or hospital.
Perfect. So thanks, Dr. Kapoor. Thank you for this call.
Thank you so much. My pleasure to see you, and say my hello and regards to your parents who have come out of this big disease fighting very well.
Yeah. The journey is going on, so just need blessings and support. Rest all above is God, and we really thank and hope we get done with this very trying time soon.
Goodbye till I see you again.
Bye. Bye, sir.